Today on NewsCenter, see a recap of MSU's homecoming weekend, hear what faculty members are up to musically, and learn what one campus organization is doing to help kids in need. All this and more today on NewsCenter.
Good evening and welcome to NewsCenter. I'm Alexis Matthews.
And I'm Kenzie Thompson. Thanks for joining us. Here's your headlines for October 20th, 2016.
The third and final presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was held last night in Las Vegas, Nevada. The debate was moderated by Fox anchor Chris Wallace. Similar to the second presidential debate, the two candidates walked to their respective podiums without sharing a handshake. Some of the topics discussed were immigration, the economy, and the plans to fix the national debt, the Supreme Court, and the fitness to be president. Major moments in the debate were when Trump refused to say that he would accept the results of the election and claimed that the political process is extensively rigged. Trump called out Clinton for her misdeeds at the Clinton Foundation and asked her to return donations from countries with a record of human rights abuse, and in his closing statement focused on improving the lives of minorities in the inner city. In the latest poll figures from CNN, 8 points is all that separates Clinton and Trump. The poll has Clinton at 47%, Trump at 39%, and Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson at 7%. CNN and ORC polls also have Clinton inching ahead of Trump in the battleground states of North Carolina and Nevada, but Trump remains in the lead in Ohio. Morehead State faculty in the History, Philosophy, International Studies, Legal Studies, and Government programs hosted the Presidential Debate Watch after the debate last night. Next week, we'll have more for you.
Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin has done a turnaround and has now agreed to return the $18 million he's been withholding from states, colleges, and universities. Bevin cut those institutions' budgets by 2% in the last fiscal year, saying the money was needed to help pay off the Commonwealth's mounting retirement system's debt. However, State Attorney General Andy Beshear sued, calling Bevin's actions illegal. Last month, the Kentucky Supreme Court agreed with Beshear, but Bevin said he would wait until he was ordered by the Franklin County Circuit Court to give the money back to the colleges and universities. Bevin and Beshear on Friday signed an agreement that will be sent to the Franklin Circuit Court that authorizes returning the $18 million to the schools. Morehead State University stands to get back nearly $900,000.
With work on its foundation continuing, Rowan County's new detention center is gradually taking shape. The $18 million project began a few months ago. County Judge Executive Walter Blevins says crews have made good progress on the initiative thanks to an unusually dry fall. After being hit with a 20,000 change order a few weeks ago by a state inspector who ordered that manholes be installed in a certain part of the project, another more recent change ordered involving some electrical work will cost the county another $300. Rowan's new 300-bed jail is expected to be ready for use by early to mid-2018.
Morehead State Public Radio's 2016 Fall Fundraiser and Membership Drive will continue through tomorrow. During this time, MSPR staff will ask listeners for a financial gift to support local programming, operations, and enhance the learning environment for Morehead State University students. MSPR serves more than 20 counties throughout eastern Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia. MSPR broadcasts 24 hours a day from the campus of Morehead State University. According to the station's manager, Paul Hitchcock, this is a critical time for public radio, and financial gifts of any size are most appreciated. Gifts to Morehead State Public Radio are tax-deductible and may be made online to www.wmky.org, or you can make a pledge by calling 606-783-2001 or toll-free at 1-800-286-9659.
A new report from the Center for American Progress says Kentucky ranks as the 16th worst state in the nation for gun violence. Researchers concluded someone is killed every 15 hours by a firearm in the Commonwealth. The Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence gave Kentucky an F for its strength in gun laws. Further research found that laws requiring background checks, trigger lock rules, and training requirements resulted in lower gun violence rates. Nearly 80% of Kentucky voters support background checks for gun sales, according to a recent poll. Vice President of Guns and Crime Policy at the Center for American Progress, Chelsea Parsons, says passing a background check law would make people facing domestic abuse safer. The report also notes the Commonwealth has the 8th highest rate of women fatally shot by their intimate partners.
2 men have been charged by a federal grand jury for distributing carfentanil that resulted in 7 overdoses in Rowan County on September 7th and 8th. The 2 men, Travis Clark of Cincinnati and Matthew Bowman of Morehead, were indicted for 1 count each of conspiring to distribute the powerful synthetic opioid that is 10,000 times more potent than morphine and 100 times more potent than fentanyl. Carfentanil is typically used as a tranquilizing agent for elephants and other large mammals. The Drug Enforcement Administration recently issued a warning to the general public and to law enforcement personnel nationwide about the health and safety risk associated with carfentanil. The investigation was conducted by the DEA and the Moorhead Police Department. The overdose charge carries a minimum of 20 years and up to life in prison. The conspiracy charge carries a minimum of 5 years and up to 40 years.
An ATM was stolen from the Frosty Freeze in Salt Lick at 3 a.m. last Thursday. Owner of the restaurant, Will Robinson, says that the robbers kicked in the kitchen door of the establishment and ripped the ATM up from the floor. Robinson said he saw the robbers from his home but couldn't grab his pistol in time to make it outside and stop them. Robinson said, quote, "They took the part that had the money and the meter, so now there isn't a camera. They had to be really smart to plan all that out," end quote. A gold Camry was seen at the time of the incident, and the robbery will be under investigation by the Bath County Sheriff's Office. Robinson is offering a $1,000 reward for anyone providing information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those involved.
Coming up, Jacob Miller's in the NewsCenter Weather Center with your forecast.
And we'll look at how students feel about the presidential candidates in this week's NewsCenter Investigates. All this coming up next.
Yo, why are you looking at bags, bro? What you need is a chick magnet. You put me in the room and boom, chicks. That's what I'm talking about.
Good evening, Moorhead. Jacob here in your NewsCenter Weather Center with your forecast. You may have noticed some showers moving through the area today, and you may have also noticed the temperatures begin to drop with the cold front coming through. We'll get to that a little bit later. Right now in Moorhead, it's a little bit cloudy. Like I said, after the showers moved through, we haven't seen much sun today, but the temperature has remained in the low 70s, so a little bit colder than yesterday, but not as cold as it's going to be tomorrow. Some record temperatures for you. The high back in 1947 was 88 degrees, and we were looking at a low of 18 degrees in 1930. The normal high for this time of year is 69 degrees, so you can see that we've been sitting around that. It has been a little bit warmer this year compared to past falls, and the normal low is going to be 44 degrees. Looking at the temperatures, like I mentioned, you can see a cold front beginning to move into the Commonwealth with lower temperatures than 79 degrees, 71 degrees, 69 degrees up in Frankfurt. And like I said, that cold front will begin to move through, and you can see some warmer temperatures on the eastern side of the state and as we move into West Virginia. Like I mentioned before, we have seen some showers move through the Commonwealth. They began in the western side of the state, and then they have moved over to our region, Ashland, Pikeville, over into West Virginia. Tonight we're going to be seeing some showers with the low temperature of 53 degrees. The sunset's going to be at 6:48. So, like I mentioned, the temperatures are going to drop as the night goes on, so make sure that you bundle up. All right, let's send it over to Kinsey at the news desk.
With the upcoming election, there are many students on campus with different opinions as to who should be the next president of the United States. NewsCenter reporter Jacob Valerio took to the streets to learn what the students have to think.
I am going to be voting for Hillary, definitely. I feel like most of the negative things that she has surrounding her is completely way out of proportion. Like they just unleashed like a whole bunch of leaked emails and some of her paid speeches that everyone's been so upset about. Of a deal, like her speeches pretty much reflect how she feels politically already, so there was nothing surprising about them.
Honestly, I have no idea at this point, because the way I see it, we're just out of options right now.
To be honest, either candidate is not really what I want in the office. My candidate got beat out the first round of the primaries. I think this is going to be a big election either way, so whoever gets it, I'm going to be praying for them, of course, but either one I'm not too big of a fan of, so.
You know, I wasn't too thrilled with our two options for the Republican and Democrat nominations, but I do think that I'm leaning more towards Donald Trump. A lot of people don't really get that. I really think that we need somebody that's going to pull us together a little bit more in the sense of an economy and things like that. We've been complaining about having politicians for so long in the White House that I think it's about time that we had somebody else that's not an actual politician. We need one of our own. We need somebody that knows what it's like being a person. So,
When we come back, Jacob Miller has a look at your extended forecast, and Holly McClurkin is in with your Eagle Athletics update.
It never gets old, huh?
Nope.
It kind of makes you wanna...
Break into song?
Yup. I love the sunset.
I love Eagle Lake.
I love the forest. I love when eagles play.
I love the campus!
And all its sights and sounds.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
I love philosophy.
We love diversity. I love English.
And all its weird words.
I love the music.
And all its melodies. Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
I love fraternities.
I love sororities.
I love to draw things.
And all the athletes.
I love Moorhead.
It's such a pretty place.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
Welcome back and good evening, Moorhead. Jacob Miller here in the NewsCenter Weather Center with your forecast. You may have noticed some showers moving through the city today. It has been a little bit rainy, and you may have also noticed the temperatures begin to drop as we have a cold front move through, but I'll mention that a little bit later. Right now in Moorhead, we're sitting at around 70 degrees. It has been a little bit above that, a little bit below that, and we have experiencing some rain showers. Because of those rain showers, the humidity has begun to rise. We are sitting at a high humidity of 88% today, and we have seen winds around 4 miles per hour, so not too windy. Like I mentioned, we see a cold front beginning to move through the state. As you can see, we have some colder temperatures, the upper 60s, low 70s, like in Frankfurt, we're looking at 69 degrees. Up in Covington, we're at 64 degrees. Danville, 70 degrees. And then we're looking at the middle part of the state at 71 degrees in Lexington. As you move across, you have seen that the cold front has not begun to move to that sort of part of the state yet. There are some higher temperatures over in Prestonsburg, Pikeville, and Harlan. We're looking at low 80s. And up in Moorhead, like I said, we're sitting around 70 degrees, and as well as Mount Sterling. Like I mentioned before, we have seen some showers move through. They have since left the western part of the state. We are pretty clear over towards Bowling Green. There are a few showers up in Louisville, but as you move across, you can see a larger conglomeration of storms. There is a large patch of rain up in northern Kentucky. Over in Moorhead, we are clear right now, but you can see some showers in Lexington beginning to move across. There are a few collections of showers underneath Ashland and over in Hazard. Tonight, we are going to be looking at some rain, and there's going to be a low of 53 degrees. Tomorrow morning, we'll have a sunset, tonight will be a sunset of 6:48. tomorrow we're going to be having some more rain with a high of 57, and the sunrise is going to be at 7:49 a.m. Let's go ahead and take a look at your 7-day forecast for this week. Tomorrow we're going to have a high of 55 and a low of 48. It's going to be pretty chilly with a high chance of rain. We're going to have some chilly showers. As we move through the week, though, it's going to be looking pretty good. We're going to be looking at the mid-60s. The temperature will drop, and we're going to have a low of around the mid-40s. But looking at Tuesday, at a high of 62 and a low of 39, it's going to be pretty fair. So it's going to be looking pretty good next week.
All right, well, thank you, Jacob. Now let's send it over to Holly McClurkin with your Eagle Athletics.
Your home for the Morehead State Eagles, this is NewsCenter Sports.
The Morehead State football Eagles hosted their homecoming game last weekend. Although they fought hard, the Eagles fell to Marist Red Foxes 44-41. Even though there were some preventable mistakes, head coach Rob Tenier had some positive takeaways from the overtime loss. NewsCenter reporter Damon Huff got his thoughts.
Well, you know, no one plays the perfect game. There's no team grading out at 100% in college football, college athletics. So you've got to look at where your breakdowns were, where your mistakes were. You take Sunday and you fix those issues, and then you have to move on because your next opponent's going to do a lot of different things schematically. Going to have a little different philosophy and how they approach the game, and so you learn your lesson real quick. You move on. You prepare for your next game. Well, just a fight. You know, I mean, as I mentioned, we lost 3 games by 9 points. We were never in a position to win all 3 of those games, and so you know, I'm really proud of our team, our morale, and the makeup of our team. They're going to fight to the very end each week. And then we had some good individual performances. You know, guys stepped up and made some big plays when we had to make plays. And so those things eventually are going to turn into game-winning issues and game-winning plays. And so that's what you need to focus on. You got to focus on the good and getting better and going back to work. Well, you know, just our first day out, so, you know, we got a little head start on Sunday, but today was our scouting report day and our preparation day, and we've decided to go an extra day of pads this week just to try to simulate the game because it's going to be a little different. Offensively, they're an option team, and they like to run the football and they like to cut block, not just within the box, but on the perimeter. And so you've got to work some of those things and do that live. To make it as game-like as possible. And so we want to turn it up a little bit, be a little physical in practice, and have a really good 2-3 days of preparation.
The Eagles will host Jacksonville this Saturday at Jane Stadium. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. Morehead State women's soccer won their last regular season home game 2-1 over competitive Jacksonville State on October 13th. Senior captain Angela Black played in her last game at Jane Stadium this past weekend. NewsCenter Brandon Louder was there to catch the farewell of our fellow Eagle.
It's kind of sad now that I'm thinking about it. I really didn't think about it before the game. So I'm kind of upset about it, but I'm happy we won. So I'm happy I'm able to leave our field with a victory. Yeah, I played a new position this year. I went from forward to a defender. So I kind of struggled at the beginning of the season, but I was able to come out and perform the way our coaches wanted. So I'm happy that it was a little stressful, but I was able to pick it up and play how I wanted to. It was a little hard just because I haven't played defense in probably since I've been here, so 4 years. So it was hard trying to get back into the groove of things, like remembering like the positioning and everything. But once I got the hang of it again, it was like I've never left. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think I'm gonna miss practices, but I'll definitely miss playing and I'll miss my teammates the most.
Volleyball moves to 8-13 on the year and evens their record in OVC play at 4 wins to 4 losses after rallying back from a 2-0 deficit to take down Eastern Illinois on the road 15-10. It marked the second straight night that the Eagles fell behind 2-0 and came back to force a 5th set. But this time they came out on top. Head coach Jamie Gordon commented, quote, "There are plenty of lessons for us to take out of this match. Some of them we need to build on, others that we need to fix," end quote. After falling in the first 2 sets, the Eagles came back strong with a 25-19 win in the third and a 25-15 win in the fourth set to force a fifth. They got out to an early lead in the final set, but were forced to call a timeout after EIU closed the gap 10-9. Following the timeout, sophomore Jordan Jones and freshman Carly Reynolds recorded kills to build the lead back to 12-9, and then sophomore Meredith Jewell logged back-to-back kills to win the match. Senior Bailey Nickel led the way for the Eagles with her third career triple-double. She finished with a career-high 60 assists and a career-high 11 kills, while adding 14 digs. The Eagles will host the University of Tennessee Martin on tomorrow night in Weatherby Gym at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and continue on with Southeast Missouri at 5 p.m. Eastern on Saturday afternoon. We'll be back with more news after this.
This is Charlie. Charlie wakes up and gets ready for class like most students. But Charlie doesn't have breakfast. Charlie feels unfulfilled. This is Nick. Nick gets up and gets ready as well, but Nick makes breakfast and feels great. Don't skip the most important meal of the day. Eat breakfast.
Dude, we've been out all day.
Breckenridge Hall.
What's so cool about Breckenridge Hall?
If we both drink, how are we getting to this party? You leave that to me, young buck. You leave that to me, young buck. There's better decisions I can make than to get in the car with the drunk driver. I can get a shuttle, an Uber, even call a friend. You know what, kid? That's not a bad idea. Why didn't I think of that?
NewsCenter reporter Holly McClurkin went to Laughlin Lawn last Friday to get in on the action of a glow run featuring 2 campus organizations.
Sigma Phi Epsilon hosted a glow run last Friday, October 14th, to support Love Your Melon. The 5K took place on Laughlin Lawn, where Love Your Melon had a table set up selling Love Your Melon merchandise and registering runners. NewsCenter talked to Sierra Landrum before the event to learn more about Love Your Melon and the glow run.
Love Your Melon is an apparel brand ran by college students. We promote Love Your Melon. 50% of our net profits from every purchase that you would purchase online goes to the Pinky Swear Foundation and Cure Search. Pinky Swear Foundation is a really cool foundation. They help with like mortgage payments, pay rent, groceries, things like that. And then the Cure Search Foundation is just searching for a cure. It's money for research. We get to, get out in the community. We do a lot of awesome things.
Sierra also told me a little bit about the glow run and what they are hoping to achieve by hosting the event.
So we asked $10 for the Gateway Helping Hands. That will be all donated to them. And then the alternative would be buying a Love Your Melon product and then showing us the receipt so we know you did that, I'm just looking forward to meeting people and trying to get our name out there and getting everyone, on the bandwagon with our cause and just trying to get out there.
For NewsCenter, this is Holly McClurkin.
To take a look at some of Love Your Melon's merchandise, head over to loveyourmelon.com.
Dr. Small and Dr. Owen hosted a faculty recital in Baird Music Hall on October 18th. NewsCenter's Christian Mooney spoke with Dr. Heather Small about the event.
So a recital is a public performance of music that you prepared. Sometimes it can be solo music, sometimes it can be chamber music. This night was a shared recital between myself and Dr. Oyen, the bassoon professor. We alternated with solos on our primary instruments, and then we ended with a chamber piece, a trio. I'm the flute teacher here at MSU, and I performed 3 works. One was an unaccompanied solo by American composer Charles Delaney. Another was a work by an Italian composer, Casella is his last name, and it was called Sicilian and Burlesque. It's a very lively piece. That's what I opened with. And then the last piece that I did was an aria by Tchaikovsky from his opera Eugene Onegin. So I started playing the flute when I was in 4th grade, and I've been playing ever since. So I played a long, long time. And you don't really play recitals when you're first starting, but probably by the time I was in maybe late middle school, I started performing solos publicly, and then came to do full recitals maybe late high school and through college, and now as a professor. So it's been a nice evolution of time in front of the public, and it's a really fun experience. You look up at the audience and you can see their facial expression, you can hear them clapping, and so you get something back from the audience when you're performing. So it's really interactive and a fun experience.
Homecoming took place here at Morehead State last weekend. Several events were held over the weekend, welcoming alumni back to MSU. NewsCenter's Brian McGee was at the tailgate before the football game and spoke with a member of Student Alumni Ambassadors about the homecoming festivities this year.
So on Thursday we had the homecoming parade, which was a lot of fun. I got to walk around with a cutout of our Instagram for the Alumni Association and take pictures. The crowd was awesome. Everyone was just really excited. We got to see all our candidates for Homecoming King and Queen, so that was a lot of fun. We had our banquet for the alumni. We also had breakfast with Beaker today and tailgating for the football game, and we're really excited because we get to see who our Homecoming King and Queen is, and we're playing Marist, so it's going to be a great game. And tonight we're having a chili supper for the alumni, so a lot of work has been put into this, so thank you for coming out.
This past Saturday was Morehead State's homecoming, and the new king and queen have been crowned. Samantha Grimes of Owensville was named homecoming queen, and Laren Collins of West Liberty was named Morehead's king. Grimes is the daughter of Connie Grimes and the late Daryl Grimes. She is a junior strategic communications major and was sponsored by the Student Alumni Ambassadors. Collins is the son of Kevin and Christy Collins and is a senior healthcare administration major. He was sponsored by Chi Omega. The announcement of the homecoming court was made during the halftime ceremonies at the football game against Marist. Among the nominees for the homecoming queen were Haley Clay of Greenup, Kendall McDonald of Owenton, Kennedy Womack of Ashland, and Caitlin Urie of Maysville. Nominees for homecoming king were our very own Jacob Miller of Covington, C.J. Phillips of Louisville, Joshua Riley of Russell, and David Rushing of Simi Valley, California. Congratulations again to our 2016 Morehead State homecoming king and queen.
Homecoming weekend, MSU inducted 6 people into the Alumni and Athletics Hall of Fame. The 2016 Founders Award for University Service was presented to the late cheerleading coach Myron Doan and was accepted by Mary Doan. Inductees into the Alumni Hall of Fame included Colonel Vaughn Cottle, Christian Gillespie, and Andy Prefontaine. The 3 former Eagles inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame were Paul Connor, Sean Johnson, and Craig Unger. All inductees were recognized and were presented with plaques at the annual homecoming banquet.
That's going to be it for us tonight. Remember, your news is always on NewsCenter's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And you can catch this newscast again on msutv.net.
On behalf of the NewsCenter team, I'm Alexis Matthews.
And I'm Kinsey Thompson. Have a great evening.